leaders be leaders. Role players play a fucking role. And let's go win this ball game.
The arena comes alive. The crowd rises to their feet. For these women, warriors, can you hear them scream your name? Feel it raise your heartbeat. Are you ready? Some will bow and some will break. Not everyone has what it takes to be a part of the elite. We are the chosen. We are the beautiful, indestructible. You're in our sights and we're prepared for war. They'll be mesmerized as they watch us rise. Oh, we'll take the world by storm.
Welcome to Ontario, California, site of the LFL Western Conference Championships. Hello, everybody. Mitch Mortaza alongside Bobby Huco. And boy, do we have a matchup for you here, and we are in the Western Conference Championships, Seattle versus Chicago. Two teams that have yet to meet this season. So talk to us about what that presents in terms of a challenge for these two coaches.
It is interesting. These two teams are not very familiar with each other. I do think it will come down to coaching tonight. For Seattle, you have Chris Michelson, the 2012 Coach of the Year. He's known as the #1 offensive mind in the league, and right now his team is scoring more points than anyone in the LFL. And for Chicago, you have Keith Hack, the no-nonsense, in-your-face, I'm going to kick your butt Chicago-type coach. It's going to be fun to watch these two go at it.
Great personalities. I know we have them mic'd up tonight, so we'll get a chance to listen in on them. In addition to the coaches, I think role players are going to be key tonight. For Seattle, you've got Christine Moore, the all-star tight end who can really be a great possession receiver out of the backfield for Laurel Creel. And then you also have Jessica Hopkins, one of the best pure safeties in the game. She will need to be big in defense of Heather Furr in the deep ball to Allie Alberts. On the Chicago side, I think you've got to start and end the conversation with Christelle Ferrari-Harris, the most explosive running back in the game. She's going to afford an opportunity for Heather Furr in that offense to extend those drives. And then finally, you have Yashi Rice, one of the best pure rushers off the edge in our game for Chicago. So those are the key role players. Now, you being a former quarterback, Bobby Huco, talk to us about Laurel Creel and Heather Furr. What are their styles here?
Well, the two quarterbacks, they have two very different styles. For Seattle, Laurel Creel, right now, she's one of the top pocket passers in the LFL. She's leading the league in passing yardage. However, she's not very mobile. She can't run very good. And for Chicago, you have rock star Heather Furr. She's having a phenomenal year on both sides of the ball. And a quarterback right now, she's the #1 rated passer in the league. It's going to be fun watching these two tonight also, Mitch.
Definitely two different types of signal callers. Will be a fun game to watch. It's the Western Conference Championships. Kickoff is next.
LFL Saturday Night Football is being presented by Rawlings, performance and protection on the gridiron for 108 years. Cutters, no other club performs like this.
Here it is. We are at Citizens Business Bank Arena, just outside Los Angeles in Ontario, and the matchup we've been all waiting for. It is the Chicago Bliss versus the top seed Seattle Mist. Bobby, what a great matchup for us tonight.
It is a great matchup, and the first time ever in the LFL, Los Angeles is not in the Western Conference Finals.
And take note, this is the home of the Los Angeles Temptation, so certainly an odd moment for them, as Christelle Harris kicks that out of bounds, and Seattle will take over at the 15. We got an opportunity now to look at Laurel Creel and talk about the lack of respect for the #1 seed.
Winning the Western Division might get us the respect that we deserve, but we don't really care about the critics. We're here to win tonight, and it gets us one step closer to our goal.
Laurel Creel, she's had a great year. 14 touchdown passes, only 3 interceptions, and she's leading the league in passing yardage.
And only behind Heather Furr of Chicago in the overall passer efficiency. And there's an early razzle-dazzle flea flicker as Creel is muscled to the ground but manages to get the ball to melee Rich. And Rich will turn potentially a disastrous play into about 2 yards.
They tried to go deep, but Kim Perez put a stop to that.
And now we're going to get a look at that starting offense for Seattle.
Megan Hansen, center. Christine Moore, tight end.
LaShonda Fowler, wide receiver.
Jessica Hopkins, wide receiver.
Bella Rich, running back.
Laurel Creel, quarterback.
Their leading receiver, Cherie Hyatt, she's out tonight on a coach's decision. She's also the number 2 tackler on the team. That's a big loss for Seattle.
On both sides of the ball. And there's a look at Melee Rich, who gets out for about a yard on that one, setting up a 3rd and 7. And Seattle's going to go into a no-huddle offense now. There's Heather Furr. Quick screen, dangerous pass, as it looked like potentially Laura Peterson was coming up. She read that screen pass, Bobby.
That's great coaching right there by Keith Hack. They knew that play was coming. As soon as they went into that set, they knew it was going to be a tunnel screen. Sticks Peterson almost took that for 6.
Now 4th and 7, but Seattle's going to want a timeout to talk this important down over. We are early in the first quarter, and Seattle opens up with a little razzle-dazzle that could have ended in disaster. Back after this.
Be sure to become a part of LFL Nation on Facebook. Simply go to facebook.com/MyLFL and follow your favorite LFL teams and players by logging on to twitter.com/MyLFL.
Back to Ontario, California, as Seattle is facing an important 4th and 7 early in this game. Creel back to pass, and she fumbled the snap. Was able to get on it, but that's going to turn it over on downs deep in Seattle territory.
Wow, I never thought I'd see the playoff jitters on the Seattle side. They're number 1 ranked, and Creel couldn't even get the snap.
That is a tough turn of events. And here's the Chicago offense, and we sat down with Heather Furr to talk about the importance of this game.
This game for the Chicago Bliss is the biggest of the season. For myself and my team, once we get past this game, then we can focus on the Legends Cup.
This is Heather Furr's biggest game of her career. She's having a career year. She's number 1 ranked in the league with a 107 rating, and she's thrown 0 interceptions, Mitch. Incredible season for Furr.
Absolutely. When you're this late in the season and you've yet to throw a pick, that's impressive. And now we're going to get an opportunity to meet that Chicago starting offense.
Melissa Ullerking, tight end. Marguerite DiSilvestro, center.
Nekawani, tight end.
Laura Sticks-Peterson, wide receiver.
Ali Alberts, wide receiver.
Christelle Harris, running back, Ferrari. Heather Furr, quarterback.
Harris at running back, but what put Furr to a different level with the receivers, Alberts and Peterson. Great year for both of them.
There's a look at our sky cam as Furr's back to pass, looking over the middle. Not sure what happened there. It looked like it was intended for Ali Alberts, just overshot her. And then Melee Rich had a shot at that ball.
Furr waited too long on this pass. The safety was there. She fakes right there. She should have thrown it right there. She waited, gave time for the safety to come over. Should have been picked off by Seattle. Chicago gets a big break when that ball fell out.
Nice hit there by Fowler at the end. Although apparently it came late, and that'll be a personal foul against LaShonda Fowler as she came in late on Furr.
Mitch, right now, Seattle is not playing like the number 1 team in the league. It could be because they had a week off. Being a number 1 seed, you get a bye week. They look rusty right now.
That is an excellent point. 1st and goal now. Direct snap to Harris. Harris pitches it to Laura Peterson. Peterson on the outside, and Peterson got in. Chicago draws first blood.
What a call by Keith Hack. They run the sweep every week. I'm sure they game plan it. Seattle game plan it. Watch, looks like a sweep left. They give the ball to Sticks Peterson the other way. She got Furr as a lead blocker. Didn't even need her. She actually didn't cross the plane, Mitch. I think she's out on the 1.
That is head referee Steve Strimling claiming the ball did break the plane, just not her body. An interesting call. We'll see if that is challenged by Seattle. Let's meet the starters on defense.
Bella Rich, safety.
Shay Norton, defensive end. LaShonda Fowler, defensive end.
Christine Moore, middle linebacker.
Natalie Sudi, your cornerback.
Jessica Hopkins, free safety.
LaShonda Fowler, she has to play big tonight, Mitch, especially since Hyatt's out.
There's the extra point attempt to Christelle Harris, and cannot break the middle. The Seattle defense finally converges, led by Megan Hansen there.
Mitch, I'm not sure why Seattle did not challenge that.
An interesting call here as Laura Peterson puts Chicago up 6-0.
Finally, a reason to enjoy shopping. Visit LFLshop.com for all of your LFL gear and merchandise.
Back to action here in Ontario, California for the Western Conference Championships. Seattle with the ball once again. This one to Krieger-Zeier. Misdirection handoff only goes for, well, actually, they'll lose two on that one. Allie Albert's coming up from that corner position.
Mitch, it looks like Chicago knows what play's coming. It looks like they know their playbook. A 2-yard loss out of nowhere. Chantel Taylor read the play and threw her back.
Indeed, that was Chantel Taylor, not Allie Alberts. And now again, Seattle taking a shot down the field. Not even close, Bobby.
Just a straight 9 route, no deception at all. And Creel threw it out of bounds. They look so out of sync. I think that week off hurt them. What's your thoughts on having that week off?
You're definitely not as sharp as a team that's played as many games that Chicago has now. Obviously, Chicago had a major tune-up against LA last week in the divisional playoff round. And there's a look at Jessica Hopkins, who breaks the middle, gets to the outside, and will go for about 6 on that one.
That's what they need, Mitch. They need a running game. They can't keep throwing the football. Jessica Hopkins, the old veteran, you put her in the backfield like that, and she can run great. Now, Creel's got to come through. She's not playing good so far, Mitch.
4th and 6 now. Shotgun snap goes to Laurel Creel. Creel looking in the flat, finds Krieger-Zeier. Zeier cuts back in the middle. She went for about 8 on that one. First down, Seattle, a key first down early in this game, Bobby.
Mitch, that's the Laurel Creel we've seen all year. Great composure in the pocket.
Absolutely, you gotta build her confidence. And this underneath route running is probably gonna be the best way to give her some of that confidence. And more importantly, move those sticks. 1st and 10 now from the Chicago 23. Shotgun snap goes to Laurel Creel. Creel trying to escape Yashi Rice. And Yashi Rice off that edge. We talked about her in the pregame festivities, Bobby, and she's having one heck of a season.
Watch this. Yashi, incredible Rice. She pins her ears back, goes right toward Creel to sack her. Rice and Taylor are having an incredible first quarter. The Seattle offensive line cannot handle either one of them.
That'll back them up about 9 yards on that sack. All the way back to the Seattle 18. Now they're forced into a passing situation against a very tough front line defensively for Chicago. Creel back in the pocket, looking down the field, going to take another shot. This one goes to, fingertip catch. That was dropped by Jessica Hopkins. The normally sure-handed Hopkins drops that one.
Great pass by Creel, on the money. That could turn the game around, the tide of the game around. Dropped by Jessica Hopkins.
Big drop by Hopkins. Now going to meet that Chicago defense.
Chantel Taylor, defensive lineman.
Nita Fagiano, middle linebacker. Yashi Rice, D-line.
Laura Peterson, defensive back.
Kim Perez, cornerback. Allie Alberts, safety. Heather Furr, safety.
As we've already seen, that defensive line is a key tonight with Taylor and Rice.
Look at that pressure as it continues to come after Creel. That pass attempt to melee Rich. And Natal's going to back him up to a 4th and 19 now inside their 18-yard line.
Not a great pass by Creel, but it should have been caught by Rich. It could have been big positive yardage. That's 2 drops on this drive for Seattle.
And the tough part is, how many 4th and 19 plays do you have in your playbook? I realize Michelson has a playbook of over 80 plays. This is a tough one. Over the middle. That pass was intended for Shea Norton, not even close. Chicago takes over.
Not sure that's the right call, 4th and 19. They threw right into the linebacker and 2 safety. There's no chance that's going to get 19 yards, Mitch.
Questionable call to say the least, targeting Shea Norton. Not exactly the best receiver on that Seattle roster. Obviously the absence of Cherie Hyatt already playing a role in this one. As we come to the end of the first quarter. And Chris Michelson and Laurel Creel talking about what's going wrong early in this one. Now 1st and 10 from the Seattle 18. Handoff goes to Harris. Harris gets to the outside, still going, has not hit the wall. Finally down, but not after she gets 14 yards on that one.
All year long, Christelle Ferrari-Harris, she's run with a purpose, simply bad to the bone.
Chicago having a lot of success early in this one, primarily because of that defensive front.
LFL football presented by Party Deck, the LFL's official social media destination, connecting fans to the game.
Back to action here in the second quarter in the Western Conference Championships. Chicago deep into Seattle territory. 1st and goal at the Seattle 4. Furr under center. Overlooking the defense. She's going to option pitch it out to Christelle Harris. And Harris goes for about a loss of 8 yards on that one. Megan Hansen coming up from that DN position.
Megan Hansen, she's the best player you never heard of. What a play by her on Ferrari-Harris for a big loss. That's what Seattle has to do now, because Chicago had the momentum the whole first quarter. They got an early lead. This is not the Seattle team we're used to seeing, Mitch.
There's the tall, big frame Megan Hansen. She's going to have to play big on the inside versus Dina Fagiano, the right tight end for Chicago. 2nd and goal from the 12 now. Burr on the option, going to keep it herself. And guess who comes up? That's Megan Hansen, number 17. Hello, Heather Furr.
Wow, Megan Hansen with a ferocious hit on Furr. She's personally stopping Chicago on this drive. Watch this. She sees the speed option. She takes the quarterback and throws Furr into the wall. Great play by Hansen.
That is the type of defensive play they're going to need against Heather Furr and Christelle Harris. In talking to Coach Hack, he's never seen Heather Furr this confident running an offense and really stepping into that leadership role on this Chicago Bliss team.
You can see it in her eyes, Mitch. Look in her eyes.
3rd and goal now from the Seattle 12. The handoff to Nneka Nwani. And Nwani goes for a 12-yard score. And that'll put Chicago up 12-0 in this one.
Wow, Nneka just made Coach Michelson a Rekka. Unbelievable call by Coach Hack. Misdirection. Watch this. Everybody thought Harris is going to get the ball. Nneka comes underneath. Nobody there. She gets tackled at the end, but she carries her into the end zone. Chicago on the board again.
Not sure Coach Chris Michelson has film on Nneka Nwani. Not exactly a featured player in that Bliss offense, but good enough to go for a 12-yard score there.
She's a new addition, but Nneka Nwani, who knew about her at all, let alone knew if she could run. Wow, what a score for Chicago.
And Chicago's going to go for a 1-point conversion from the 1 here. Furr could have ran that in, but throws it over the middle, and Hopkins is there. Unfortunately, you cannot advance an extra point turnover. So now Chicago will remain 12 points ahead, and Laurel Creel will get back to work here for Seattle.
Good point, Mitch. Furr should have kept the ball, ran it in the end zone. There was nobody in the corner of the end zone. For some reason, she chose to throw across her body in the middle of the field and was picked off.
1st and 10 now as Seattle takes over from the 15. Creel back in the pocket, looking down the field, nothing there. Still scrambling, trying to find time. And a dangerous pass back to the other side of the field to Melee Rich. And that'll go for about 4 yards, but a dangerous pass across her body.
Creel had time. She had all kinds of time. Great protection finally by the Seattle front line. Wow, she can stand back there all day. Looks deep. Great coverage by Alberts and Furr in the secondary. Then, as you said, she throws it up for grabs. Luckily, Rich caught the ball.
A lot of work for about 4 yards as we move to about the 5-minute mark of the second quarter. From Ontario, California, the winner advances to the Legends Cup next week in Vegas. 2nd and 6, Creel back in the pocket, looking over the middle, going to take a shot. Not sure who that was intended to, possibly Krieger Zier.
All year long, Creel could hit the open receivers. Tonight, she can't hit the side of a barn, Mitch. I don't know what's going on with this offense. One thing's going on, I know. Coach Hack studied this team. He had his team study film. You can tell. Remember earlier in the year, Jacksonville lost to Omaha because they didn't study film? Chicago's ready to play football tonight.
They've definitely scouted this offense quite a bit. And Laurel Creel now looking at a 3rd and 6. Shotgun snap. Quick shovel pass to LaShonda Fowler that just isn't there. There's just no continuity in this offense.
I have never seen Seattle's high-octane offense shut down like this, Mitch. Kudos to Coach Hack and his staff. They have Seattle reaching for anything they can get just to gain a couple yards. Wow, this is a shocker so far.
This is a dangerous territory for Seattle. Already down 12-0 in this one and facing a 4th and 6. Back on their side of the field on the 19. Creel back the pass in the pocket. Now looking to the right side and just trying to thread the needle, but Jessica Hopkins not there. And they'll turn it back over on downs to Chicago.
That's the 3rd time tonight already that Seattle has had a 4th down play. We haven't seen that all year long. You got to credit the front line, Chantel Taylor, Yashi Rice. They're all over Creel tonight. She's not feeling comfortable in the pocket at all.
The key to this game is going to be field position now. That is the 3rd time Seattle's turned the ball over inside their side of the field and given Chicago really short fields to work with.
Heather Furr right now, she's having an MVP type year. If they can get on the board again this quick with 3 scores in the first half, it would be incredible.
Furr now with the option, pitching it out to Alberts. And Alberts hitting the wall. I think they're going to give her credit for about a yard before Natalie Sudi came over.
Great play by Heather Furr. The read option, she attacks the end of the line of scrimmage. 2 players go for her. She pitches it to Allie Alberts, who gets positive yardage. Great play by Furr.
Great save there by Natalie Sudi, or Alberts should be in the end zone.
Alberts having a great year on both sides of the ball. 113 yards receiving already.
A Rookie of the Year nominee. 2nd and 7 from the Seattle 16. Pitch to Harris. Harris reverses to Allie Alberts. Alberts trying to get to the outside. Does. Goes for about 5 yards on that one. You can see they're just trying to give her the ball. She's just an athlete.
That's why she is one of the top Rookie of the Year candidates, Mitch. A reverse to her. She sees nothing there, but her speed gets her outside for a gain of 5 yards. You can use her as a wide receiver, running back, anywhere. It's a great blocker. Coach's dream.
She is definitely a contributor on both sides of the ball. A lot of people don't realize that she is having a great year at the safety position alongside Furr as well. And now we're coming down to about the 2-minute mark of the first half. And this is going to need to be a big stop by the Seattle defense to stay within earshot, as they are already down 12-0 in this game.
Believe it or not, Keith Hack looks happy in that picture. He's usually yelling at everybody.
An intense figure in the LFL, no doubt, but he is up 12-0. Keep in mind, he guaranteed a win tonight. And with plays like this by Allie Alberts, Chicago is on their way.
LFL football presented by Playmaker. LFL's newest technology, allowing fans to create highlights of their favorite players and teams.
Back inside of 2 minutes at the Citizens Business Bank Arena in Ontario, California. A desperate moment for the Seattle team early in this game. 3rd and 2 as Furr looks to the end zone and finds a streaking Allie Alberts. Wow, they are now up 18-0.
What a pass by Furr, what a catch by Alberts. A little skinny post, man-to-man coverage. Furr delivers a strike on the money, on the timing, wide open the end zone. I'm not believing what I'm seeing tonight, Mitch.
They are just surprising this defense. You got to wonder how much film they've seen on this. There's a lot of inside trickery. There you go again, Crystal Harris with the inside handoff, misdirection handoff. Watching Chicago, you haven't seen a lot of this offense. You almost have to wonder how much of this was saved just for this matchup.
Absolutely right. We haven't seen those plays, those reverses all season long. It's like Coach Hack was waiting for the playoffs, and Seattle is in a daze right now. Look at Coach Michelson. He's not even excited right now, and he's getting killed.
At some point, desperation and urgency have got to set in for this ball club, as now they're down 18-0, and they're facing a rolling clock in the second half, obviously with LFL rules. A strike up the middle, and they just seem to cannot connect here. Not sure if that was intended for Krieger Zier or Jessica Hopkins. A look of confusion all across the board.
You're right, Mitch. There was 2 receivers in the same area, and Creel threw it right in the middle, but all the defenders were there. This does not look like the high-octane offense of 100 plays, all the misdeception we've seen all year.
2nd and 10 now, another shot, this one to Christine Moore. Just not connecting with her.
Christine Moore out in the flat. She was open for a short gain, but again, Creel did not set her feet and threw it way in front of her. There's no chance that Moore could catch that ball.
Definitely a tough start here. Not sure if the receivers are in the wrong positions or Creel's just having an off day. 3rd and 10 at the Seattle 15. Creel rolls out right, going to take a shot to Christine Moore. That'll go to Moore for about 4 yards, and it does stop the clock.
I've never questioned Michelson's play calling, but tonight you got 3rd and 10. You have wide receivers that can go down the field and catch as good as anybody, and you throw it to Christine Moore for a 5-yard gain.
And I'm not sure I would completely abandon the run game, even in this 2-minute offense situation, especially when you have a melee rich. 4th and 6 now. Creel going to take another shot down the field. Nobody near that ball. Looked like it was intended for LaShonda Fowler. Not sure what's going on with this offense, Bobby.
She actually threw it to the right receiver between the corner and the safety, but it was way off. Fowler had no shot at getting that. There's a minute 40 left, and Chicago's got another chance to take it in. This is incredible.
Once again, they start at the Seattle 19. 1st and 10. Furr back to pass, looking down the side. A quick pass to Allie Alberts. Alberts still on her feet. Gets to about the Chicago 4.
Great read by Furr. You had the wheel route deep, or you had Alberts in the flat. Both the corner and safety went deep. Alberts wide open, and Furr read it. They look great tonight. This offense is rolling.
It's that combination we talked about in the pregame show. Furr to Alberts. And a bit of frustration setting in with Seattle as Creel and Michelson try to get on the same page. 1st and goal now from the Seattle 4. Furr with the drop, looking over the middle, and that ball bounced to Nneka Nwani.
I love the way Coach Hack is calling plays. Everybody thinks that Harris is going to get the ball. Nobody, and I believe nobody on Seattle has ever heard of Nneka Nwani, and she's become a big offensive weapon tonight. Kudos to Coach Hack.
You know what, Bobby? I think I'm going to look for my Nneka Nwani jersey when I get home. Perhaps she's the next breakout star in the LFL.
She could be.
2nd and goal now. Once again from the Seattle 4. Alberts in motion. Inside handoff to Harris. Harris breaking through the middle. No shot at stopping her. That front line was just blown back about 3 yards, Bobby.
The #1 team in the LFL, the Seattle Mist, looks like they're asleep right now. A lot of people around the league thought it might be Seattle up like 24-0. The Chicago Bliss tonight has become an offensive juggernaut, 24-0 in the first half. Incredible.
Chicago's points have all come on the Seattle side. They've had short fields throughout the night here in the first half. Here's the 2-point attempt with Furr looking to the back of the end zone. And overthrows Laura Peterson. But Chicago still up 24-0 in this one with still a minute 24 left.
Mitch, in my 4 years in the LFL, this might be the most shocking first half of football I've ever seen. Look at Coach Michelson. The #1 team in the league is getting rocked by Heather Furr and the Chicago Bliss. They're down 4 scores already.
Put it this way, that last drive went for a whopping 16 seconds. Now Creel back to pass under duress. And that one's almost nearly picked by Dominique Collins.
Collins should have had that. Great pressure by Yashi Rice. Incredible Rice coming off the corner. Pressured Creel. Again, she just threw it up for grabs. That should have been picked by Chicago.
Now, do you continue to take shots and possibly turn it over on downs again, or do you try to run this clock out and regroup at halftime?
They have no running game right now. 0.
2nd and 10, another shot down the field. And that one almost caught by Krieger-Zeyer just off her hands. That'll be the second big drop of the night.
You're right. Usually Ricky Krieger-Zeyer catches that ball just like Jessica Hopkins earlier in the game. That could be 2 scores for Seattle. Well, you brought up a great point. They're just throwing the ball every play right now. They're only down 4 scores in this high-octane offense. They need to establish a running game somehow. Every time they ran the ball, it's been over 10 yards.
What you got to worry about is turning the ball back over. And that is a 3rd and 10 pass. That's thrown behind LaShonda Fowler. This is what's scary because now you're facing a 4th and 10. you're at your 15-yard line, and there's still 1:06 left for Chicago.
I've never seen Creel play like this. She's getting shell-shocked by that defensive line of Chicago.
There's another misconnection with Jessica Hopkins, and they're going to turn it over on downs once again.
What happened to the Seattle front line? Yashi Rice and Chantel Taylor are all over Creel when she's trying to pass. But you brought up a great point. You have to establish the run at some point because that will shut down the defensive end.
I'm a bit puzzled by this play calling from one of the best minds in the game, Chris Michelson. 1st and 10, setting up the option, but Furr's going to keep it herself. Still backing up. Dangerous pass. Pressured by Christine Moore. Seattle thinks that was a backward lateral, but that was a forward pass.
Definitely a forward pass. Not a smart play by Heather Furr. The only way that Seattle can get back in this game is turnovers. She should have just taken the loss and go to the next play. And Furr trying to make something happen, but you don't have to when you're up 24-0.
That has been the only knock on Heather Furr. She's prone to make that big mistake. That ill-advised pitch. That has reared its ugly head several times this season. Here's another option play looking to pitch it out. And that's another fumble. Luckily, it takes a Chicago bounce right back to Heather Furr. And that went for about 2 yards.
Mitch, you just touched on it right there. That's exactly what gets her in trouble. Speed option to the left. They had the running back and had her. She should have kept it, got as many yards as she can, and then go to the next play. She pitched it, and the ball went on the ground.
And Chicago's electing to use their only timeout of the half. Here's another look at that ill-advised pitch. Back to action here in Los Angeles. 3rd and 6 from the Seattle 11. Pitch out goes to Harris. Harris another reverse. No, keeps it. And she gets out to for about 8 yards. Out to the Seattle 11. The clock is still running. Nope, she got outside. They're saying the clock stopped.
A score here could be a killer for Seattle's hopes.
1st and goal now with 28 seconds left, and Furr going to take a shot with her arm in the end zone. Now being heavily pressured, gets outside the rush, and almost picked off by Krieger-Zeyer.
Krieger-Zeyer, she should have had that interception. Again, Heather Furr trying too much to make something happen. She should have thrown that away. I love her because she does this, though. Even though it's a mistake, she is such a competitor, throwing people off, but then she throws the ball up for grabs.
Now with about 21 seconds left in the half, you got to figure another score pretty much puts the nail in the coffin. And they're going to take a shot at the end zone with Allie Alberts. Overthrown Alberts. Can't blame them for trying to connect with the best emerging receiver in the game. And now Hack and Heather Furr having a bit of an argument. Let's listen in.
Furr and Hack, they definitely have a love-hate relationship, and they're up 24-0, so I guess that's love right there.
Now, can you imagine if they were down 24-0?
Wow, the offensive coordinator, James Bruner, looked like a counselor on the sideline.
16 seconds, pitch back goes to Harris. Nothing doing. That looked like Christine Moore came up, but there is a penalty there.
Number 8 was not set. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That'll back them up to about the 8-yard line.
Mitch, right now, Chicago has to go for the jugular. If they can go up by 30, it'd be insane.
Now with about 11 seconds, they're going to take a shot over the middle. And that is Allie Alberts, the previously mentioned Rookie of the Year nominee, having a big night in Ontario.
Great throw by Heather Furr. Awesome catch by Allie Alberts. Furr puts it the only place that Alberts can catch it. Watch the safety come over. Almost gets fingers on it, but Alberts, with her height and athletic ability, makes a spectacular catch. 30-0, Chicago. This is unbelievable.
Now Chicago lining up for the extra point from the 1. Quick snap goes out to Harris. Harris cuts inside. And that is too easy as they go up 31-0. If this was a boxing match, it would have ended by now.
And people would be saying, no mas. 31-0 in one half of football in the Western Conference Finals.
This is not what anybody imagined, certainly nobody in the Pacific Northwest. Mist Nation watching on, absolutely shocked as Creel goes in the shotgun. Snap back to Creel. Creel's going to take a shot down the field and nobody there but Chicago defenders.
This does not look like the Laurel Creel we saw play all year long. This team was undefeated. They beat the defending champs Los Angeles. They're down 31. I don't even, as a head coach, I don't even know what you say at halftime to try to come back from 31 points.
You certainly don't want to demoralize your roster any further than it is. And there's another little pass, and that one's intercepted by Allie Alberts. Alberts all over the field tonight. And that'll be the last play of the half. And Seattle completely unraveling. What do you say if you're Chris Michelson to this team? On the other side, you have the Chicago Bliss up 31-0. And a lot of it had to do with Allie Alberts dominating on both sides of the ball back at halftime.
LFL football is being presented by Rawlings, performance and protection on the gridiron for 108 years. Cutter, no other glove performs like this.
Smart offense and defense. I told you, that's how you will win. Outsmart these motherfuckers. But we're not. We're letting it dictate what the fuck we do. We're shook. Now I'm gonna tell you something. You can either go out there with your fucking heads down and pout the rest of the 16 minutes and get your ass handed to you even more, or you can go out there and fight like a motherfucker and show them who we are.
Back to Ontario, California, Mitch Mortaza alongside Bobby Huco. And Bobby, you were that head coach previously with the former Miami Caliente teams, upset at halftime. Chris Michelson not happy at all.
Not at all. In fact, Chris Michelson should be yelling at himself. They only attempted 4 rushes in the first half versus 22 passes, and quarterback Creels only completed 3 passes in the first half. When they did run, one time to Melee Rich, she ran it for 12 yards. You have to have a balanced offense. They don't have it right now. They're the number 2 offense in the league, and they only have 26 yards in the first half.
And what has Chicago done when they've turned the ball over to Chicago with those short fields? They've capitalized, especially through the run game. You have Nanenka Nwani scoring on a rushing play. You have Laura Peterson scoring. And of course, Christelle Ferrari Harris. And outside of the run game, the passing game resurfaced with Allie Alberts and Heather Furr connecting not once, but twice in the first half. That's what's led us to the 31-0 score at halftime. Now, the key question, if you're Seattle, what do you do to salvage the second half of this ball game?
We have to take it one play at a time. Somehow on offense, you have to get points on the board, whether it be running or passing. And on defense, to get back from 31 points, you have to create turnovers. They have to make something happen quickly in the second half.
We'll see what happens, how much heart Seattle has in the second half. Kickoff is next.
Hey, be sure to become a part of LFL Nation on Facebook. Just go to facebook.com/MyLFL. Don't forget, you can follow your favorite teams and players by logging on to twitter.com/MyLFL.
Back to second half action here in Ontario, California, as Seattle is down 31-0. And we have head coach Chris Michelson mic'd up for this one. Let's listen in.
Get ready. Or you gotta calm the fuck down. Watch what they're doing and don't be afraid to audible out. Stay on that fucking edge, Megan. That's what I'm telling you guys. They're gonna fucking do misdirection. You've gotta stay home on the outside and the backside. God damn it. She's throwing that ball in just traffic, bro. That's a bad throw. We're in trouble, dog. I ain't gonna lie.
You think, Mitch, what Coach Michelson said, they're in trouble? 31-0. I don't think in the history of the LFL any team has come back from 31 points at halftime. But with this offense, it could happen. Right there in the first half, Heather Furr is totally outplaying Creel. She's 3 out of 7, 34 yards, but 2 touchdowns. Creel, 3 out of 20. Her worst half ever. Furr's outplaying Creel tonight so far, Mitch.
I'm not good at math, but that is not a good percentage rate. 3 out of 20 for Creel. Deep kick now to Christelle Harris, and she's going to bring it out off to the left side, and she's out, still on her feet to about the 19. Good return by Harris. And that is where Chicago will take over, already up 31-0. And that was a holding call on the return on Chicago, so they'll back them up half the distance. And you got to figure, Bobby, if you are James Bruner, the offensive coordinator for Chicago in this half, you're just working on that clock.
You have the #1 back in the LFL. You give her the football. You don't do anything stupid. Don't put it up for grabs. The only way you lose this game is turnovers.
Now Fur in the shotgun, inside shovel pass to Christelle Harris, and Harris goes for about 3.
I like getting the ball to Harris, but I don't like doing it with a shovel pass. You just hand it to her right now. You don't want any fumbles or any linemen picking off a shovel pass. Harris is the #1 back, 6.8 yards per carry. Give her the football, and you win this game.
This Chicago team is definitely set up for just that. They are built for a power run game, and that's going to play to their benefit, being up 31-0. 2nd and 7 from the Chicago 8. Fur back to pass, looking deep. That was intended for Laura Peterson, and Peterson became the defensive back deflecting that ball.
I'll be real curious to see if that was the call by offensive coordinator James Bruner or Heather Fur checked off.
That was a holding call on Chicago, but Seattle elects to decline it and make this a 3rd and 7 for Chicago.
That's the second holding call of this series from the second half kickoff. Chicago's got to focus. I know they're up 31, but 2 holding calls already, and they're trying to deep pass that might have been intercepted. Keep it on the ground and get rid of this clock.
I don't know that you abandon your game plan from the first half. That is what led to the 31 points. Now 3rd and 7, deep shotgun. That one's a fake handoff to Harris, and Fur is going to keep it on the option, and she goes for about 4.
That's okay, though. It's the option game. Fur made a great read. There was nothing there. She pitched the ball, got 4 yards, 4 positive yards. She came down. She could have actually got more. She tucked it in earlier, but whatever. 4 yards is great. Now it's a tough 4th down call, but you only got 3 yards.
Now a big stop here for Seattle defense. They desperately need this ball back. Approaching the 5-minute mark here in the 3rd quarter. You've got to make a stop here if you're Seattle, if you have any hopes of clawing back into this game.
They need a turnover bad, Mitch, something bad. They need to strip a ball, intercept the ball, do anything to get that ball back.
4th and 3 from the Chicago 12. Shotgun snap to Fur. Fur's going to hand it off to Christelle Harris. And Harris continuing to move. That goes for 10 yards. And that'll move the sticks for Chicago.
Chicago definitely they make it interesting, Mitch. Not a pretty drive at all, but when you got Ferrari Harris running the ball, a little read option like that, 4th down, but she gets 10 yards, another 1st down, and the clock keeps moving.
That clock is now under 5 minutes. 1st and 10 at the Chicago 22. And this Seattle defense a little bewildered. There's a look at Jessica Hopkins not believing what's going on. 31-0. 1st and 10 pitch goes to Harris. Harris trying to get to the right side. Goes for about 4 yards on that one.
The perfect call by James Bruner. We don't give Bruner a lot of props. We always talk about Keith Hack, but Bruner's called an outstanding game tonight. All the misdirection plays, the reverses, and now they're up 31-0. And they got Ferrari Harris in the backfield. She gets another 4 yards. And already it's down to 4 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. This is how you grind a clock.
2nd and 6 now at the Seattle 24. Chicago taking their time in and out of those huddles, and rightfully so. Shotgun snap to Fur. Fur looking down the middle, nothing, trying to create something in the flat. Krieger-Zeyer, interception, cuts it inside. She's going to go for 6, and Seattle finally finds the end zone. Interception for 6.
Mitch, everything I just said, I take back. What kind of call is this? 1st and 10, you're grinding half the quarter down, you call a pass play. Heather Fur again over trying to do a play, trying to make too much happen. This is absolutely the only way Seattle can wake up and get back in the game. They have the #1 scoring offense in the league. Don't wake this bear up.
Now the extra point attempt from the 3. Seattle will go for 2 points here. Trying to find somebody in the corner of the end zone. And Creel, as she's been all night, is just flat.
Wide receiver, wide open in the end zone. Creel just can't get her the ball. This is not the Creel we've seen. I don't know what's going on with her tonight.
She just lacks any confidence. You can tell from the body language. Hesitant to even walk to the sideline. Now 1st and 10 for Chicago once again. There's a handoff to Dina Fagiano. And Fagiano rumbles for about 4.
This should still be the previous drive. I don't understand what Heather Furr and Bruno were doing throwing the football. It should be 31-0 and grinding out this whole clock. Now Seattle has their first touchdown. Keep it on the ground and grind the clock, bitch.
Simple, stupid.
I agree.
Choice words, choice advice. I've gotten it several times in my life. Keep it simple, stupid. 2nd and 6, Chicago 19. As Furr comes under center. And that could potentially be a false start for Chicago. Not the way you want to finish business here, even if you're up 31-6. You want to look sharp going into the Legends Cup. And Chicago's struggling now.
This is a quick strike offense Seattle has. Heather Furr's got to get her team together. That's like the 3rd penalty on the last 2 drives.
2nd and 11. Shotgun snap to Furr. Furr going over the middle. Just overshoots Allie Alberts.
Mitch, I know you want to run your offense, but when you're up this many points, all you want to do is take the clock out of the game. By throwing the ball up, you give Seattle a chance to score another touchdown. I just don't understand it.
You've demonstrated, if you're Chicago, a power run game, averaging 4.5 to 5 yards per clip. Not sure why you're going to the air now.
They have the #1 running back in the LFL, the strongest, most powerful back in the league, and they're throwing the ball.
Now a 3rd and 11 handoff goes to Harris. Harris reverses to Laura Peterson, it looked like. And Peterson goes for about 2 yards there. That'll get the ball down to the Chicago 16.
That's not a bad call. 3rd and 11. Everybody thinks that Harris is going to get the ball. They tried that reverse that worked earlier with Sticks Peterson. Seattle was all over at that time for only a 2-yard gain.
Another big opportunity for the Seattle defense as Chicago faces a 4th and 9 at the Chicago 16. If Seattle can get a stop here, they'll have a short field for their offense.
They have to get a stop here. To have any shot at this ball game, they have to stop Chicago right now.
4th and 9 from the Chicago 16. Shotgun snap to Furr. Furr rolling right and overshooting Christelle Harris. That is exactly what Seattle needed. They are going to take over at the Chicago 16.
If somehow they can get a quick strike, a quick score right here, there's a whole quarter left. And with this offense, who knows, Mitch?
That is the one thing about the LFL game. It is a short field. Despite fighting a rolling clock, you've got a short field. And if your quarterback has a gun, you always have a chance. And keeping in mind that there is no kicking in this game, so there's no punting. Everything is 4-down territory.
Creel's thrown for 14 touchdown passes this year. She can throw it. When she's on, she's as good as anybody.
Shotgun snap to Creel now. Creel looking to the back of the end zone. Nothing there. Checks down. And that one goes to Melee Rich. Melee Rich cutting across the middle, and she could go. Bouncing off defenders all the way down to it looked like the Chicago 3. Rich goes for about 13 yards on that scamper. Little signs of life from Seattle. And this is what Chicago does not want, to give them any sign of hope. And that should take us down to the end of the 3rd quarter. Not sure Creel understands that if you spike the ball, the clock is going to continue to run anyways.
She's not having a good game. I hope she learns a lot of lessons, because she is an outstanding quarterback. Just having a bad game, and unfortunately, it's in the Western Conference Finals. She'll learn from this, I hope. But you're right, Mitch, bad play.
And before we go to the end of the quarter, there is a look at Seattle with a quick pass to Melee Rich showing signs of life.
Finally, a reason to enjoy shopping. Visit LFLshop.com for all of your LFL gear and merchandise.
Back to Ontario, California. The start of the 4th quarter, the final act of this conference championship. Seattle has the ball at the 3. Inside handoff this time to Hopkins. And Hopkins trying to muscle her way in, and does. That is only the 2nd score for Seattle, but they will take it.
They gave it to the old veteran, Jessica Hopkins, one of the greatest athletes to ever play for the Mist, and she shows her talent right there, gets in the end zone. There's a lot of time left. You never know, Mitch. Chicago's got to wake up a little bit right now.
With 7:50 left. On the other side of the ball, Seattle not showing much urgency. There's got to be a meeting of the minds at some point here for Seattle. They're going to need to adjust to a 2-minute offense here shortly, as they are down 19 points still.
They should be doing it right now. The extra point, the clock's running.
There's the extra point attempt from the 3. They'll go for 2. And there's Melee Rich getting to the outside. That'll cut into that Chicago lead, make it 31-14.
They're only down 3 scores right now and almost the entire fourth quarter left. They need a big defensive stop right here. This is the Melee Rich we've expected all night. I thought she's having a big game tonight, but she's not playing as well as she has all year.
And now Chicago takes back over on downs, 1st and 10 at the Chicago 15. And let's see if they clean up some of that play calling, Bobby.
1 quarter left, give the ball to Harris, period. That's all you need to do.
They're going to follow your advice, Bobby. A little miscommunication between Furr and Harris as they run into each other in the backfield. And Christelle Harris cannot get to the outside and loses one on that one. LaShonda Fowler up on the tackle.
That's okay. Chicago never looks pretty in the backfield. Heather Furr sometimes looks like a linebacker handing the ball off, but they get the job done somehow. That's okay. Didn't look pretty, but took a lot of time off the clock.
That loss of 1 sets up a 2nd and 11.
Do it again. Give it to Harris again. Number 1 back in the league. Straightforward, though. Give her the ball straightforward. Let her do what she does.
This is a challenge most running backs would welcome because the defense knows what's coming. And there's another option play to Harris. Harris gets on the left side. Arm tackle attempt by Natalie Sudi. Just can't get there, and Harris goes for 11 yards. That'll be a Chicago first down.
Great call by Bruner, the offensive coordinator. A little misdirection, and then they bring the option down the weak side. There's the read. Come down. Nobody takes Harris. Big play. You keep the ball. You get a first down. Excellent call. Excellent play by Chicago.
Bit of an Olay attempt tackle by Natalie Sudi. That is what you do not want to do, is going high on those running backs. Seattle just off their game, offensively, defensively. Just not the team that we've seen all year in the Western Conference. 1st and 10 from the midfield now. Pitch out to Harris. Harris trying to get to the outside. Does. And gets clothesline tackled there by Sudi.
She gets 4 yards all on her own, but look at the clock. It keeps moving and moving and moving. What a season for Harris and Furr and Chicago. A pitch sweep, not a whole lot of blocking, but she gets 4 yards and milks the clock.
That's obviously the key point now, Bobby. Not many points needed for Chicago. They just simply need to work on that clock. And fortunately for them, with LFL rules, the clock will not stop till we get to the 2-minute warning.
You see Heather Furr right there looking at the clock. She's going to milk it down as much as she can before the ball snaps.
There's a snap directly to Dina Fagiano. And Fagiano goes for about 2 yards. Christine Moore on the stop.
Fagiano, she's really come into her own this year. She can carry the ball too. That's a great call, conservative, but she can get 4 yards as good as Harris can inside.
Now getting to about the 4-minute mark here of the fourth quarter and potentially the end of a magical season for Seattle. A lot of people thought they would be playing next week in Las Vegas. Not looking likely now.
Absolutely. Just protect the ball. That's all Heather Furr has to do.
3rd and 4, high snap, and Furr trying to gain control of that high snap and has managed to fall on the ball. Getting ugly here as we get into the stretch run.
Great play by Heather Furr, just getting on the ball. It was a high snap by Dee Silvestro. Heather Furr knocked it down and fell on it. You don't need a turnover right now. Only 4 minutes left, but you still don't want to give Seattle any shot at all at getting back in this ballgame.
There's Heather Furr looking at the clock as it looks like Chicago's heading to Las Vegas on the feet of Christelle Harris.
LFL football presented by Party Deck, the LFL's official social media destination, connecting fans to the game.
We are back to action here with 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. A key 4th and 7 for this Chicago offense, and perhaps more importantly for the Seattle defense. Burr back to pass in the pocket, lobbing it over the middle. Wow, what a catch and pass to Laura Peterson. Sticks Peterson coming through in the clutch. What about that play call, Bobby?
I love it. Actually, I think that might have been a checkoff by Heather Furr. The both safeties were up on the line of scrimmage. There's nobody deep. Furr saw that, threw it up. That's a conservative pass. Nobody can catch that except Chicago. Great pass by Furr, and that might be the nail in the coffin that puts them into the LFL Legends Cup Championship. Wow, great play by Furr.
I did not think that Coach Keith Hack would allow an opportunity like that to go by. He's going to want to take a look at that being a possible score by Peterson. Let's take a look at this play.
Great play by Furr, puts it out there. Peterson's down, knees down right there, but she's touched on the shoulder. It's a great call by the referee.
Let's see if that call stands. Certainly by that video evidence, this call should stand. As we expected, it'll be 1st and goal for Chicago inside the Seattle 1. This could be the final nail of the nail in the coffin.
I love the challenge by Keith Hack trying to get that score.
That's the competitive side of Keith Hack as the ball comes loose, still loose. Now Seattle picking it up. What a turn of events that was. Jessica Hopkins, had she kept her footing, she'd be hitting in the other direction for 6.
The only thing Chicago can't do, that's the old Keith Hack we know. He is upset about that. If somehow Hopkins could have ran all the way, they would have been down only 2 scores.
And this is big with Christelle Harris down on the field. It looks like something possibly wrong with her shoulder.
That is terrible news for Chicago. The only thing you can't do is put the ball down. She tries to lateral it back to Furr. Not a great play by Harris. Then she gets crushed on her shoulder. Hopkins almost picked that up and went coast to coast. That could have been a nightmare for Chicago.
And it looked like from that replay that Christine Moore put all her weight down on Christelle Harris's shoulder. And that's a good sign for Chicago as Harris walks off the field. Seattle will take over now at their own 13-yard line. Laurel Creel stepping in under center, having a tough night tonight. Drops back in the pocket. Quick pass out to Melee Rich. And Rich goes for about 5 yards before Kim Perez comes up.
Kim Perez is having a whale of a year, Mitch. She came up right there as soon as Rich caught the ball, got in front of her, didn't let her get around her, and the clock's still running. They have to throw the ball. They have to go vertical right now. Seattle's only shot is to throw it down the field.
Now 2nd and 5. Quick little flat pass there to LaShonda Fowler. That'll be enough to move the sticks. Bad news for Seattle. The clock continues to run. Will not stop till we get to the 2-minute warning.
These flat passes are okay if it's early in the game and it's an even game, but not when you're down this many points.
And there's a shot over the middle to Christine Moore, the all-fantasy tight end. But we've not called her name all night.
Clock's almost down to 2 minutes. These little passes, they're going to kill the clock for Seattle.
Now Creel looking to Fowler. And just threw in front of her a bit much. Creel's just been off all night, whether it's behind the receiver, in front of the receiver. She's just lacking that confidence she's had all season.
You're right. She was so confident all year, led this team to an undefeated season. Somehow, during the week off, their bye week, they got all discombobulated, and this is not the same Seattle team that we've watched all year.
3rd and 1 now for Seattle. Creel in the shotgun, taking her time as if she's up. There's a shotgun snap, quick throw there to Melee Rich. Melee Rich getting to the outside and then slammed to the ground.
Sticks Peterson got hit right in the eye, hitting the wall right there. I hope she's okay. What a competitor. Again, not a great pass by Creel. It was behind the receiver, and she had to turn around or she might have gone in the end zone.
And That'll take us to the 2-minute warning, and we take another look at the shot to Peterson.
LFL football presented by Playmaker. LFL's newest technology, allowing fans to create highlights of their favorite players and teams.
There's a look at our game MVP, Allie Alberts. What a night she's had. 2 scores and an interception. Emerging as perhaps the best rookie in this league.
In my eyes right now, I think she is the Rookie of the Year, but that we don't know until the awards banquet, but she is right there. She's got a great shot at winning it.
An incredible crop of rookies this season. Anna Hazeman from Green Bay is toward the top of that list, certainly. Melee Rich from Seattle, Cherie Hyatt from Seattle, certainly a lot of great candidates. But Allie Alberts impressing everyone tonight. There's a look at Laurel Creel, first and goal from the Chicago 9. Shotgun snap to her. She's going to look over the middle and just overshooting Megan Hansen. That was a touch pass, Bobby, and when you can't connect on those touch passes, you were just off.
She's off all night, but a lot has to do to Keith Hack's defensive scheme. He's bringing the house. This game's over right now, but he's bringing the house every play, still going after Creel. She's throwing the ball off her back foot with nothing on it. You got to give props to Chicago's D and Keith Hack in his game plan.
Second and goal for Laurel Creel as she takes a shot over the middle. Allie Alberts stepping in front of that pass, and once again, that is 2 interceptions for the rookie.
Watch Alberts from safety. She reads Creel's eyes, cuts right under the pass, picks it off. What a night, what a year for Alberts.
And Chris Michelson, all he can do is look on in dismay. It's not much to yell about at this point. 1st and 10 from the Chicago 15. There's a shotgun snap. Furr keeps it on the option and still on her feet. And she goes for about 2 yards there. She did get out of bounds. That will stop the clock.
At this point of the game, this game is over. You don't want your quarterback taking shots like that. Give it to a running back who's used to running. Heather Furr knows how to run. You just don't want to get her hurt with less than 2 minutes left in the game.
Not sure I would even have Heather Furr in this game. You are 1 week away from the Legends Cup and a matchup versus the Philadelphia Passion. You want all your horses for that big show.
Absolutely. For the first time ever, there's a new sheriff in the Western Conference.
2nd and 8. This one goes to Dominique Collins, and Collins out for about 5 yards to the Chicago 17, and now it becomes garbage time as we get near the minute mark of the 4th quarter.
Mitch, you got to feel so good for Heather Furr. How many years has she fought her butt off trying to win, and she's won, but she's never got this far in the playoffs. Finally, she made it to the championship. She has a chance to be the LFL champion quarterback.
And Keith Hack, who came back to this organization after it was in the dumps the past couple seasons. And he's on the doorstep of yet another championship similar to their 2009 season. And there's Collins again, that goes for about 6 yards.
You're right, Keith Hack, he's had an unbelievable season as a coach. He brought life back to this franchise, and now they're 1 step away from winning the Legends Cup.
Chicago will have to get 1 more play off before they start celebrating with the LFL's 35-second clock, but also Seattle, the other side of that tail. 4-0 season, kind of reminding you of the Patriots season a few years back, that they were 18-0 and then lost on the biggest stage. Certainly Seattle didn't get to the biggest stage, but still just an absolute collapse tonight.
Big collapse, but great season for Michelson, Creel, and the rest of the whole Miss team. They had a great season, but who knew it would all come apart like it did tonight?
And that'll do it. Heather Furr takes the victory knee, having fun with Gino Payne from LFL Films. And this one is wrapped up. We have zeros across the board. The Chicago Bliss are the Western Conference champions, and who would have guessed it? What a road they've taken to the Legends Cup, beating Los Angeles, beating Seattle, and now heading to a showdown versus Philadelphia as the confetti is coming down. The championship hats are being handed out, and pure excitement in the city of Chicago, I'm sure.
If any team deserves it, it's the Chicago Bliss. They got here by beating the best teams in the LFL. They beat Seattle undefeated. They beat the defending champs, the Los Angeles Temptation. Now 1 more victory, and they're the champions.
And for Seattle, you have to regroup, re-examine some of the play calling by Chris Michelson in this game. but that will come in a few weeks from now. As we now turn our attention to Las Vegas. Next week, we are in Las Vegas for this Chicago Bliss team versus the Philadelphia Passion Legends Cup on Labor Day.
What a game that's going to be, Mitch. You have Christy Bell. She's been to 2 LFL championships the past 2 years, but has not won. She wants this game just as much as Heather Furr does. And then the running backs, you have Mary Rose Roach coming off an injury, going against the #1 back, Brisdell Harris. I cannot wait for this game.
And there's a look at some of the rookies and veterans coming together for Chicago. You got to figure this has got to be a special moment. No one gave this franchise a shot. It was all Seattle. It was all Los Angeles. That was the talk during the season and the preseason. But tonight, Chicago came out of the gate strong with Laura Peterson and a host of defensive players. Allie Alberts, of course, contributing on both sides of the field. And the Ferrari, Brisdell Harris. So we will see you next week in Las Vegas for Gino Payne, our producer, Patrick Rulig, our director, Bobby Huco, and Mitch Mortaza. We will see you next week.